Hello and welcome to episode 157 of the PassioKnit Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. I do have a Ravelry group, but it's kind of, it's there, but we don't really do a lot over there. But I also have a Discord server that I set up, and I'm going to put a link in the description box, and it's going to be valid for 7 days. So if you watch this, in the future, the link will not work anymore, and I cannot change out the links on every video every week. So just so you know, it's going to be there for a week. And as I'm pretty sure you're going to see me again in like 4 weeks, because this seems to be the new regular, there will be a time in between videos with no link, but it is what it is. So since my last podcast, I think it's been a month-ish, and a lot happened in that month. My son started school, 1st grade, and let's just say anxiety took over in the lead up to that, and it's ebbing down now. So I'm able to do a podcast, and I have a ton of stuff to show to you. So let's do it. I have four finished garments, and I'm really excited about all of them. None of them have sleeves. They're all, sleeveless, summery things, but I love all of them. So I'm gonna start with the Ranunculus. I think I showed this to you in progress last time, and I brought my trusty hanger. Oh, also, I'm wearing the Boxy by Joji Locatelli out of Wollmeise in a color that I don't know. So that's what I'm wearing. What I'm showing to you now is the Ranunculus. It is by Midori Hirose, also known as Knit Cafe Midori. I've worn the shit out of this. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing to wear because the yarn. Now this is what I have left, and I used Katya linen. So this is the yarn that I have used for my Ranunculus, and this is a 53% cotton and 47% linen blend. It's also a DK weight yarn, and the pattern course calls for lace weight. So it's also a one size, and then there's additional sizes in a second file. So I did the one size, and it is a bit oversized. It has like 3 inches of positive ease, but it's not as wide as I would hoped it to be. On the other hand, this is all the yarn I had. I had 4 skeins of this, and this is what I got. I ended up with a wearable garment that I have been wearing a lot. As you can see, it's kind of stretching out here at the underarm, but I don't care. It was a super easy, really fast knit. So that is the Ranunculus. The next thing I finished was the Tarmac Tank, and I have no idea who's the designer. The pattern is in Pom Pom magazine, the summer issue of 2018. So this is my version. This is my Tarmac Tank, and it looks like this. It is very nice and flowy. It has these 1 row stripes and a contrast I-cord. And the yarn that I used, this is what I had left. I feel like I did a great job there. This is my leftovers. And I used yarn from Apple Oak Fiberworks. That's the label. And the yarn that I used is more of a sport weight. And the pattern, again, calls for a light fingering weight. So I used a sport weight with a 80% wool and 20% rami content, which is nice, but a bit scratchy, I have to say. But yeah, from Apple Oak Fiberworks, or Apple Oak Fiberworks, yeah. And this is it. Now, the Tarmac Tank. I shortened the strap on the front so the back would come down. It was supposed to be, straight back, and then, but I mean, you can already see where my issues lie. So I made the front straps a lot shorter to get the back to droop down. And then what I also had to do, so this was not supposed to be here. This was the original armhole size, which, you know, kind of cleft over here and you could see the whole boob. Not a good look for me. Didn't want that. So what I did, I inserted these squares. This looks like this. I had a little bit left over of the green after finishing the body, and I divided that into 2 equal little balls and used those to knit in this square. It's not ideal, but I mean, at least now it's wearable. And if you want to knit this, it's super easy to knit. It's a really fun knit. I love how it looks. I love the fit, and now I love the fit. If you are going to knit this, check out the notes on the Ravelry projects, because a lot of people had to change something to make the armholes smaller, because this is still a, you know, quite the large armhole. And yeah, it was supposed to be this deep, and that's yeah, way too big. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks amazing. I love the colors together, and I can definitely see making another one in different yarn, in different colors, of course. But so that's the Tarmac Tank from Pom Pom magazine. And then I kind of felt the urge to do a wintry knit. You know, I had done the camisole number 4 in the red linen cotton blend. I had done the Leiden top, the green and the yellow one with the stripy stuff. Then I had knit the Ranunculus, then I had knit the Tarmac, and then I wanted to have something that was not a summer knit. So what I did is I got to my local yarn shop, because why did I go? I don't even remember. I went in there and I got 4 skeins of 2 different yarns. So I got 4 skeins of a very new yarn by Lana Grossa. It's called Seta Suri. And this is a 69% alpaca and 31% silk blend that looks and is made to look like a silk mohair. It is a very thin, it's not like a brushed alpaca, it's way thinner than they usually are. So you can see here. So I got 4 skeins of this, and then I got 4 skeins of Lana Grossa Meilenweit Late Night, which is a sock yarn blend with golden glitter, and it looks like this. And I had those 2 together. Yes, the 2 browns are not the same, but knit together, you can't really tell. So I had 4 skeins of each, and I knew I had to have a slip over for winter. So I looked around and I fell in love with this pattern here. And this is the Friday slip over from PassioKnit. And it looks like this. 4 skeins, like I said, it's already a bit. And I just really liked those lines, you know, from the increasing and decreasing stuff. It is knit top down, super easy textured pattern. And I really like how it turned out. I love this color, you know, it's brown. I love brown. You know I love brown. So this is it, my Friday slip over. And I really want to have a lot more vests in my wardrobe. I just need them, you know? They very much fit into my 70s librarian aesthetic. So I love how this one turned out. It is so warm. This alpaca has the same warmness to it than the mohair does. It's really, really warm. So I get to wear this when it's cold outside, which it isn't right now. So these were my 4 finished objects. 4 sweaters or garments done. And I'm now also done with the summer knits. You know, I now want to do sweaters and vests and slipovers and just cozy stuff. And I'm going to show you what I'm working on. First thing I'm going to show you is, wait. Oh, I forgot the 4th sweater. I only showed you 3 of my 4 sweaters. Okay, it's not Monday, it's Tuesday, but it kind of feels like Monday. Now, let's rewind. Let's go back a bit. The 4th finished sweater I have It's the one I love most of all. So I'm not quite sure how I forgot about this one. Happens. So I finished this one. This is called Wendys Pullover, and it is the cutest sweater ever. The pattern is from Interweave Knits a while ago, and it is by Ruthie Nussbaum. And this is just the cutest. Look at it. I used Malabrigo sock. I cannot find the labels. I have no idea. I think this is called Indecita. And this was a leftover from a pair of socks I knit the year I got married, which is, 13 years ago. No label, no idea what the color is. But it's also a Malabrigo sock. And I just love the contrast of these. So I have the project bag that this lived in. Now this is the leftover yarn. This is how much yarn I had left in the end of 2 skeins. And this is the small leftover. That's already been a leftover and is now another leftover. So this was the yarn, Malabrigo sock. And the pattern, does it tell me? Yeah, it does. So the pattern is in Interweave Knits Summer 2013. I've wanted to knit this for a while. And I'm going to show it to you in the pattern picture, because this was supposed to be a hip length sweater. It's also supposed to be knit flat and seamed. And I did neither of those 2 things. What I did was, I knit this in the round up to the armholes. And as you can see here, no seams. And then I split and knit flat. And I also knit the sleeves flat because I had to seam that much and set in the sleeves. So that is it. This is my sweater. I love it. I still have to take finished objects pictures with it. And I'm not sure yet what to wear for that. I do have a lot of ideas. And I also need to sew a dress that will be perfect for this, but I'm too lazy to sew right now. So I have to find a different idea. But I love this. So what I did for this sweater, there's a lot of finishing that happened for this sweater. I had to weave in millions of ends in 3 different types of fabric. So I had stockinette or reverse stockinette on the inside, I had garter stitch and also ribbing. And I did short little tutorials for my Patreon where I showed you how I weave in ends. I showed you how I sew in sleeves or seam knitwear in general. And I also showed you how I deal with buttons. So these are the buttons. It has a button placket in the back. It is a very vintage looking garment, which is why I wanted to have it. And I started doing the tutorial and, started with button selection, and I have a gigantic button box and I could not find 5 buttons that would go, 5 of the same that would go with the sweater. So I had to go with 5 different ones, but I actually think that is perfect for this vintage garment. I think this turned out way better than if I had 5 of the same. So I show you in one tutorial how to choose buttons, what is important about it, how I attach them, how you line them up to be, where they should be. There's one tutorial about seaming knitwear, and I feel like my seams turned out really nice for that sweater. And one for weaving in ends. But this is, I need to have a second one, but I need to kind of make the pattern, rewrite the pattern for me to be a top down in the round, in one piece sweater. And I have never done a in the round one piece set in sleeve. So I have to, work my way into that mindset, because I do have a lot of yarns where I have 2 skeins. But this one here, the Malabrigo sock, has normal sock yarn yardage, and I know I have 2 brown skeins that are more a sport weight, and I don't know if I dare to knit bottom up, because this is knit bottom up with, extra knitted sleeves, and I really would love to make that other colorwork happen, the other colorway happen, because it would be a really, really nice caramelly brown. And I love brown. And I would do a white collar with brown sprinkles, not sprinkles, what's the word? Speckles. I have it all in my head, you know, I just need to make the pattern work for what I want it to be. But this is the cutest thing ever. And I am really happy with it. I cannot wear it. I cannot wait to wear this. So now that's it for finished objects. Finished, 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 and so cute. So that's it. Okay, now let's go to the things I'm actually working on. First thing, it's not a garment at all, but it kind of makes me happy. And it is a towel. I got 4 skeins of sugar and cream as a gift from a lovely podcast viewer who sent me a parcel earlier this year. And it is this color. And I decided to make one big towel for myself out of this. And I've made pot holders, and I'm working on a large towel for my husband using a pattern by Ducati, who's a German, and it's called Baker's Twine. And it is really nice, but it eats up yarn like crazy, and it's very thick. And that's not really what I wanted for my towel, so I went on Ravelry, did an advanced search, and I found this pattern here, which is called the No Purl Towel, and it is by Pearl Soho, and it's a free pattern. And this is how much I have now. So this. That's my towel. And this is the rest I have from the 3rd skein. And I did have 4. So I'm gonna add the 4th skein. And this is gonna be just my towel, you know. It's a super relaxing knit, super easy. I'm using 5mm needles for it. And it's just, yeah, it's I want to knit, but I don't want to think project right now. And that's exactly what I need. It is in this bag here, but the bag maker isn't making bags anymore, so sorry, but I love this bag. The next thing on my needles has been on my needles, it feels like forever, but I cast it on actually this year. So it's not been that long, you know? And it is a boxy. Because I love my boxy so much and I wear it so much. I kind of need a second one. And I have done a lot of work on this. I have split the sleeves. I have this little, let's just open it up. I have a stitch holder in one side and the needle in the other. And this is it. That's the boxy. It is a very oversized sweater, as you can see. And I adore it. So the yarn that I'm using is Schoppelwolle Admiral. It is their normal sock yarn. And you can still get this colorway. It is very, very, very similar to one of their Zauberball yarns. And I've had this in my stash forever. I got it in their factory outlet shop. And it was really cheap. I mean, super cheap. I think less than €5 for the whole sweater material. And like I said, I just split for the sleeves, so I am here right now. And there's not a whole lot left to do, but these rows are freaking long rows. But it's going to be adorable. And I wanted to have a round the house boxy kind of, you know, because this is such a comfortable sweater and I really love wearing it. I love the length of the sleeves because I always shove sleeves up anyways. So this is kind of perfect, but I also wanted to have one that I can just throw in the washer. And as this is a commercial sock yarn, it's very easy to care for. So that's the boxy. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's a boxy. It is a super easy knit. It's my second one. I'm pretty sure it will not be the last one because this is just such a comfortable sweater. And it is such a wonderfully mindless knit, you know, at least up until the armholes where you have a million stitches and you just knit round and round and round. So yeah, I'm sure there will be more boxies in my future. And the project bag, I'm pretty sure, is one that my husband bought. No idea where. Okay, two left. One of them is a pair of arm warmers that I'm knitting, which is a very unspectacular thing to show to you, because it's just a stuck in a tube. I didn't even do any ribbing because this yarn just will lay flat perfectly. And that's the second one. I'm knitting this on a 5mm needle. The boxy is on a 3.25. That's a US 4. And no, it's not. It's a US 3. Sorry. That's on a US 8, 5mm. That's the first one. And the yarn that I'm using, I did not bring a label, but it is Rowan Yarns Sophili Yak. And it is an alpaca yak cotton polyamide wool blend. It is so soft and nice. And I'm just doing 2 arm warmers, and I will not keep those. They are actually for a basket of mine that I'm going to set up in a local like creativity studio, where I am going to be teaching classes starting today. I'm going to talk about that later. And I will also have a basket of knitwear for sale, and these are for that basket. So that's what that is. And the last thing I am actively working on, I mean, I have millions of things on the needles, but the last thing I'm actively working on is in this bag here. That is a fuzz magnet. I cannot tell you how often I've used the lint roller with this thing. So this is a project bag that I made out of a mini skirt that I had made for myself and worn like 20 years ago. And I just seamed it together. This was the actual top, and it overlapped quite a bit. I am working on the Thin Vest by Marie Wallin. It looks like this, and it is a free pattern that you can find on the internet. And the pattern calls for Rowan fine tweed, felted tweed, and I'm using Rowan fine tweed because I had that. I bought that at the factory outlet shop. We have one Rowan factory outlet shop not too far away. And of course, because I'm using things I had, my yarn colors are very different than what she calls for. So this is what mine looks like. Also, hers is knit flat. Mine's knit in the round. And I am that far into the pattern. The yellow and the dark green here are Debbie Bliss, Donegal fine tweed or something. And everything else is Rowan fine tweed. I love this. I think it's going to be really nice. I think it will go very well with my wardrobe, color-wise. But the yarn is a single, which isn't a problem. But sometimes it is so freakishly thin. Of course, now I cannot show you to you, but sometimes it's so thin. I'm like, will this hold? But seems to be holding up fine. So yeah, that's the Thin West. My brain is color work. I want to do color work and only color work. So this is perfect. I've started this also sometime this year, I think. And this is what I have done so far. And I'm a bit on the fence because the pattern is knit flat. And I'm kind of thinking about doing steeks for the neckline and the sleeves. And to do that, I printed out the pattern for the Ivy League vest, which is, I think, also a free pattern. Looks like this. And this one is knit in the round and steeked. So I'm kind of using the chart for this and the instructions for that. If I can manage. If I dare, let's say. If I don't dare, I will just, you know, split and then knit the rest flat. We will find out sometime in the future. I'll go back in here. But yeah, that is the Thin vest. I always want to say west, like, you know, going west. And these are the floats. I think they're looking rather nice. And yeah, these are my active projects right now. I will not show you the arm warmers again because when they're done, I'm going to pop them in my basket. I'm not going to wait another month until I podcast again. That doesn't make sense. I tried to stop it and then I made it worse. It's the hanger that's on the table. So I have 2 more crafty things to show you. I have made project bags. I have, like I said, I do have a Patreon. And for my Patreon, I filmed a project bag sewing tutorial. And for that, I made this project bag here. So this is my project bag. I'm going to keep it. It's a nice and big one. It looks like this. I smacked myself in the face with it. So this is my project bag, and this is the one I made in the tutorial. And on the inside, it's white. And then I still had, leftovers of the 2 fabrics. So I made one that looks like this, but is a bit smaller, and I sold it. And I have 2 more that are also for sale, basically. So the first one is just the upper fabric. Looks like this. And also, my label is just barely visible there because I kind of, you have to attach the label before you do anything else. And yeah, I underestimated how much space I need from the bottom up. But it does have a label. And the other one looks like this. That was the absolute last of those 2 fabrics. And it has the split of the colors vertically. They all have the white on the inside. I like using light colored fabrics for the insides of bags because that way it's easier for you to see what's in there. If you use a black fabric on the inside, the whole inside of the fabric is going to be very dark. So that's why I use white if I can. So these 2 are still for sale. If you're interested, shoot me a message. And so that's that. I did project bags, and it was the first time in months I sat at a sewing machine, and I really missed it. But my problem is I have to clean my sewing room to be able to really sew, and I don't want to do that. So there's no sewing happening. Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to show to you is something completely different. So like I said, I am going to start teaching classes in the local creativity studio that a friend of mine has set up. And she is a painter, and she likes, to do paper crafts and just, crafting with kids in general, all of those things that you can do with kids. And she does sewing with knit fabrics. Now, there's one fly, go away. And she asked me if I wanted to teach other textile arts other than sewing with knit fabrics. And I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I'm teaching. I'm going to start today. I have 2 classes each week, one for kids, one for adults. And today I'm going to start with woven wall hangings. And my general idea was to do, the for kids and for the adults have the same theme, but of course do it in different, do it in easy for the kids and harder for the adults. So for the kids, I didn't bring my little sample, but I brought the wall hanging that I did for the adult class. And I think it turned out rather nice. And it looks like this. So I made that. It was really fun. You need a small loom, and the rest of it is leftover yarns from projects and some hand-dyed fiber that I had. And I really like how it turned out. I do. I think this turned out nice. You also have to do a lot of finishing in the end. So it's not just, weave and done. You have to weave in ends in the back, but it is what it is. We all have to do the finishing work. So this is my little woven wall hanging that I did, and I think it turned out really cute. I really like how it turned out. The thing is, I'm not a woven wall hanging person. So I have absolutely no use for this. So I will put it up in that studio for sale because I made it. I think it's really cute. I want to make more because it's a very meditative work. But it's not for me. You know, I like doing it. I like the look of it, but I don't want to have it. So that's where I stand on these. I think they're cute. They're just not for me. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to teach there. I'm super excited. I'm scared as shit. But it's going to be okay. Now, let's enter into everything else, because I do not want to talk about books here anymore. And for watching, I've watched Criminal Minds and nothing else. So there's nothing to talk to you about. And books, I'm going to do a separate video, because I just finished book number 54 this year. And I'm going to do a separate video with books. What was the last? The last one I think was 18 through 35. So I'm going to do 36 through 50. And then one last one for the remaining books that I'm going to read. So everything else. I am going to do a VKN this Saturday. And that's going to be... my phone is there. So what is it going to be? That's empty. Okay. Like the 25th? Maybe it's Saturday, the 25th of September. Ish. It's around there. We're going to do a VKN, which is a virtual knit night that I'm hosting over Zoom. So we're going to meet in a private Zoom chat room, video chat. And we will just talk to each other, you know, show us what we're working on and talk about knitting inspiration and just life in general. And it's always really fun. And I'm going to post the links, like I always do, in the Ravelry group and also on the Discord server. So if you're unable to use Ravelry, please get into the Discord and you can get into the Zoom meeting from there. Then what else? Yeah, I'm teaching classes. I'm very excited. I'm going to teach weaving now, first woven wall hangings. There will be sewing bags with woven fabrics. I will do crochet, amigurumi crochet. And yes, I have ink on my finger and I couldn't get it off. I will do knitting for beginners and I will do embroidery. That's all going to happen before Christmas. And after Christmas will be a knitting for, you know, you know how to do it, but you want to do a bit more kind of class. And everything else, we will just see how it how it goes, you know, what are people interested in, and then just go from there. So that's happening. And I'm going to, like I said, set up a basket with my knitwear for sale. And yeah, I'm super excited about all of this. And the other thing, I do have a Patreon. I know I've said it twice already, but 3 times the charm. I do have a Patreon where I post a lot of tutorials and blog posts and just, you know, I try to share a few things that I know. I'm taking you along for when I'm learning something new, because, you know, if you can see someone else make mistakes, you also learn something. And my Patreon is not set up like most others are. You know, usually you have different tiers, and the more you pay, the more you will get. It's not the case for my Patreon. You pay €3 as an entry. That's the entry tier. And you will get all of the content. If you want to go into one of the other tiers, I have several tiers set up. You will get the same content for all of them. But if you go into a higher tier, you just support me with a bit more money. That's how I am trying to do this. And so that's the Patreon. And the last thing, I usually talk about mental health, and let's do that. Let's talk a little bit about mental health. So the last few months have been really hard for me for several reasons that I'm not going to get into too much. The one thing I have already told you, and I'm going to talk about now, is Tim started actual school. He was in kindergarten before, and now he's in school. And that just messed me up because, you know, my husband and I, we're very chill people. You know, we get up in the morning when we're awake, we go to bed when we're tired, we eat when we're hungry. We're just very live in the day people. And with school, that's just not going to work. We have to set an alarm clock that actually rings at 6:15 because school starts at 7:30 and we have to leave the house at 7. And there needs to happen breakfast and, you know, getting ready, getting dressed, all of the things needs to happen before that. So we have to get up very early. And yeah, I'm a night owl. I usually go to bed around 1. I'm not doing that anymore. I go to bed between 9 and 10 because I'm so done at the end of the day. So yeah, that was my main problem. You know, we have actual times that we have to have, like, regimented. Because in kindergarten, if you arrived at 8 or 8:30 or before 8, it didn't really matter. But in school, kind of does, you know, they don't let you just roll in whenever you're awake. So just the whole school aspect, thinking about it just freaked me out. And it's interesting to me that it freaked me out so much because I'm a freaking teacher. I mean, I've gone to school all my life, and then I went to school as a teacher all my life, and then Tim happened. Didn't happen. I planned him, but you know what I mean. Tim happened, and then my life just got a lot more chill and relaxed. And the whole getting up for school and having to, you know, just completely lost my system, or evacuated my system. And now I kind of have to find my way back into that routine. But I think I'm good now. I'm good now. The anxiety is going down, and I'm ready to be the mother of a school kid, whatever. And teaching the classes, I think, will help a lot because I have something that I have to focus on and I have to show up for, you know, literally, I have to show up for it. And also my Patreon. I'm doing a lot over on Patreon. I'm averaging 2 posts a week if I can, at least 1 a week. And it's a lot of fun for me and I really enjoy doing that. So yeah, I'm just right now, I'm good. Life is good. And that's all I can ask for, really. So yeah, that's the podcast. I have no idea when the next one will be. Let's face it, probably sometime in October. Once a month seems to be the new thing, but it's better than nothing. And I'm gonna try to keep it up as you know, as semi-regularly as possible. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful time. I hope back to school was not the hardest thing for you and it works out fine for everybody. And that is it for today. I'm going to leave links down below for Discord and Ravelry. No, not Ravelry. For Discord and Patreon. And I hope you all have a wonderful time and I will talk to you again in the next video. Bye.